Hey there, everybody. Welcome to week 7. Going with some more empires this week, and epics or literature that are important within there. This week we're doing Persia, China, and Japan. And again, I think this week also we can kind of be thinking a little more about empires. Hopefully, you're kind of getting like compare and contrast between empires and civilizations. I mean, civilizations one are typically a lot smaller, a little more homogenous. Kind of like cities and some unity, some trade. But empires are much more sort of centralized, and I think the Persian Empire particularly really shows this distinction that the Persia spanned from Iran to Mesopotamia all the way to the Indus, took over Egypt for a while. So three different civilizations with their cultures and diversity, all within this imperial structure. I mean, all the way to Anatolia, which is now Turkey. Um, and this idea of centralized, or they split each the little regions up, but they were all kind of ruled by a central Persian imperial structure, Darius or Cyrus or Xerxes, and they'd have their imperial governmental apparatus, and then the regions could kind of do what they wanted, but there was a centralized power there that took care of it, and features of Persia, roads, capitals, all these things, new religions, Zoroastrianism. So Persia. There we talked about the Persian Wars and what those were, and then why those are significant, particularly in the how that sort of unifies Greece, and then the backlash of that. About 100 years later, you have Alexander the Great, who then sort of takes revenge, if you will, and conquers Persia, which that sort of expands Hellenistic world and Greek influence out of Greece into large parts of the world. Egypt being one of those. We talked about that. The Persia context, we talked about the Chinese context is similar. The Qing dynasty unifying after the Zhao. Qing is very quick, short unification, about 20 years, 25 years. But then out of that, this first sort of imperial structure of the Han comes out. Talks about that, some of the elements of that, particularly Confucianism, Taoism. So that's a little bit of the literature stuff. If you're interested in Chinese literature, Confucianism and Taoism is super interesting. So I talked about those a little bit, what they are, how they focus on this idea of harmony, make society harmonious. So they come at it at two different directions. And then we talked about Japan and sort of the transitions to an imperial system there, particularly with the imperial family. Japan has these sort of clans, these family clans that are sort of political units. One of them, the Yamato clan, takes over and becomes the imperial families. Connects that with Shintoism. Talked about Shintoism a little bit as well. So quite a bit of topics this week throughout Asia and empires and some epics and all that stuff. So follow along there. But really, kind of what I want you to also be doing this week is reading your epic or getting it. I responded to everyone's who did insert their epic onto their. I gave feedback on their discussion post. Hopefully, you got that. I tried to upload your epic. If I had a PDF of it, I uploaded it there. So please look at that. Start reading those over because this week you have your draft of your epic. So hopefully you kind of have an idea of it. I've looked in it, done a little bit of research on it. So this week, I want you to start writing. Like, what is this? And I think the hardest part about a draft. I mean, is your draft supposed to be an entire 1,000-word draft of your final essay? Absolutely not, right? I don't expect everyone to have 1,000 words. In fact, if you do, it's going to be suspect of, well, how did you read an entire epic and write 1,000 words in a week? That's I mean, even we all have a lot of stuff going on. So a draft, right? Ideas on paper, right? And they can be anything. They can be outlines. Here's the main points. What I suggest people do is kind of look at the three main components of the epic essay. A summary of the history of the text, what do we know about this, when the epic itself was produced, and a little bit of cultural significance. Just kind of start making ideas. Split your draft up into 3 sections. Kind of quote what you know already from that by Friday. Does it have to be perfectly flawless? No. Does it have to be cited? No. But it needs to be kind of words on paper. Get things going. Get ideas generated. Do that by Friday. And again, hopefully you kind of have an idea of how the epic essay works. Upload your essay to your peer review group by Friday. And then over the weekend and up till Monday, each member of your group will read that. And there's a little rubric there. And you just upload that to the other members of your group. Just a little bit of feedback And again, that process too. I mean, everyone's in the draft phase, so everyone's looking at these epics a little bit differently. That the sort of intention of that is you can look at what other people are doing and apply that to your paper. So hopefully, basically by the end of the week, please have some ideas on paper about your epic essay. And again, this will help at the end product that we're not scrambling all at the last minute to get these. Scramble now so you don't have to scramble later. So hopefully that makes sense. If you haven't picked an epic, please do that, obviously, by the end of the week. I think that's it. Have a good rest of your week.